Good morning, all. I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone. Welcome to all members of council, to our staff that will provide us facts and information so we can make decisions in the best interests of all residents of our municipality, full-time and seasonal residents. Welcome also to all members of the public that are in attendance this morning and the media that may be joining us. Meetings of council are live streamed on the Township's official website in accordance with the live streaming and virtual participation of meetings policy. Do any members of council have a pecuniary interest or general nature thereof to indicate at this time of any agenda item that we have today? Okay, will move on to our minutes from the 13th of March of our special council meeting and also our regular council meeting of the 17th of March. And I would entertain a mover and a seconder for the approval of these minutes. And that would be moved by Evan, seconded by Jennifer, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby adopts the minutes as provided in items 3.1 and 3.2. Are there any questions on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. Open forum is an opportunity for any members of the public to make any comments that they would care to regarding any agenda item that we have today. Are there any members of the public that would like to make any comments at this time? Seeing none, we do have a public meeting this morning, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder to adjourn our regular meeting and open our public meeting. That is moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Council hereby adjourn the regular council meeting and open a public meeting and review zoning bylaw amendment application Z02-2026 Otten. All in favor of this motion is read. And that is carried. I thank you. I would like to call this public meeting to order and indicate that this meeting is live streamed on the Township's official website in accordance with the live streaming and virtual participation of meetings policy. Does anyone have a pecuniary interest or general nature thereof to indicate at this time of this agenda item? I see none, and so we are addressing, and council have been provided by our staff, the report prepared by the county planner, Megan Tidhernick, regarding this application. The purpose of this meeting is to consider changing the zoning on the property described as 81003 Riverline Concession Maitland, Part Lot 29 of Colborne Ward. This is a requirement being held under the Planning Act that requires the council hold at least one public meeting and that proper notice be given. Notice was given on the 10th of March 2026. I would now like to invite Megan Tidhernick to present to council on this application. Welcome, Megan.
Okay, good morning, Mayor and members of council. Today we have an application to amend an existing special zone within the natural environment designation, and the subject property is located at 81003 Riverline. So here you can see the aerial image of the property with the zoning designations on it. It's approximately 50 acres in size and is located just north of the Maitland River. The green area, the dark green, is Natural Environment Zone, or NE1. And the small square that doesn't look like it has a zone on it, just no coloring, is a special zone of NE1-45. So the zoning bylaw amendment was approved in 2020 to permit the construction of one single detached dwelling and accessory structures in accordance with AG4 provisions. So the area rezoned is approximately 1.3 acres. And the current application is to amend the already approved special zone, and that will include an additional residential unit on it. So our aerial images are from 2020 and don't show the development. So this image is from Google, but here you can see the house has been built as well as the accessory shed to the left there. And here we have the site plan of the additional residential unit to be built. So it is to the south of the existing house, And there you can see the septic to be utilized by both units. So as part of the circulation, we didn't receive any comments from neighbors. We did have one neighbor call in just to clarify that this was not a rental or an Airbnb option. I confirmed that it was not. The applicants are using this for an aging parent. There were no concerns. They just wanted clarification on what it was being used for. MVCA reviews the proposed location and determined that the development would not be within the regulated area, so they don't have any concerns either. ACW staff reviewed the septic information that was provided and found that to be acceptable to share that infrastructure. So no concerns were raised when reviewing this submission. The PPS, as well as the county and ACW official plans, direct development away from significant woodlands and wetlands typically in an effort to protect the environmental features. The policies do state that if there is no other option or location on the properties, no negative impacts need to be demonstrated. So at the time of the original application in 2020, the applicants worked with the county forester as well as the biologist to address any natural heritage concerns that they may have had. So they did create a forest management plan. They preserved a bunch of the mature trees in the area, as well as preserving an existing foundation outside of the proposed zone amendment as a potential habitat for snakes. So they did go through all of this in 2020. So with all of that, the proposed amendment is consistent with the PPS and the official plans of both the county and ACW. It is considered to be a minor refinement to the existing zoning that maintains the intent of the original approval, which is proposed to permit that additional residential unit on the property. So therefore, it is recommended that ACW Council approve zoning bylaw amendment application Z02-2026.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Megan. I will open it up now if the applicant and or agent would care to make any comments on this application at this time. And seeing none, is there any members of the public that are opposed to this application? Are there any members of the public that would like to speak in favor of this application? Hearing none, I'll open it up to council for any questions or comments on this. Councillor Snowblin first, please.
Thanks, Megan. I wonder if you could go back to the screen that outlines the house and the shed. That one there. So where those lines are, is that where the proposed housing unit is supposed to go?
So this one right here that says 20 by 30,
Okay,
this is the proposed unit.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to know, will there be a driveway to there? Because it looks like the driveway that goes to the shed and the house, I assume it's a driveway, is quite a distance from that unit.
Megan, please.
Yeah, so there will be a small pathway.
Oh.
So they will park kind of where the existing shed is. And then there was to be a pathway too. So it's approximately right in this area. Sometimes it's a bit easier to see with an aerial image. So there was just going to be a pathway to this existing.
And that was my next question, was is it that clearing there that is where the proposed unit is supposed to go to? Okay. I
That
just
is
wanted,
correct.
there is no special reason. I just am curious. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments on this? Hearing none, I would like to indicate that if a person or public body that files an appeal of a decision of ACW Township in respect to the proposed rezoning, but does not make written or oral submissions before the proposed rezoning is adopted, the Ontario Land Tribunal, in brackets OLT, may dismiss all or part of the appeal. It is the recommendation of the planner that council of the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh approve the zoning bylaw amendment application Z02-2026 on the basis that the proposed amendment maintains the intent of the original approval while permitting an additional residential unit. I will ask for a show of hands if council is in support of this decision. And that is supported by council. What effect would the public and agency comments have on this decision, please, Megan?
So the effect of public and agency comments are 2A. No public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision. And 3B, agency comments were received in support of the application, the effect of which resulted in a decision to approve.
Thank you very much. It has been recommended to us that the effect of public and agency comments in this decision be 2A and 3B. And again, I will ask council if we are in support of this. And that is supported by council. Thank you. The procedure following this meeting is that this is a public meeting, not a council meeting. Therefore, a decision of council may or not be made later this morning. If the bylaw is passed, the clerk will send a notice of the passing of the bylaw to all prescribed persons and to anyone who has requested notice. There is a 20-day appeal period from the date of the notice of passing that is issued, and during this time, appeals may be filed with the Ontario Land Tribunal or to the attention of the clerk for the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh. Appeals must be filed no later than 4 p.m. on the final day of the appeal period, and any appeal received after 4 p.m. will be deemed received on the next business day. The applicant or a specific person, public body, or registered owner who made oral submissions at this public meeting or provided written submissions to council before the bylaw was passed and to the minister, no person or public body may be added as a party to an appeal unless they have made submissions before council's decision or, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to add them. A notice of appeal must outline the reasons for the appeal and be accompanied by the required fee, which is currently $1,100 per application payable to the Minister of Finance. If no appeals are received within the 20-day appeal period, the clerk will certify the bylaw as being in full force and effect and will provide notice to those prescribed. If council does not pass the bylaw, the applicant may appeal to the OLT. Thank you very much, Megan, for your presentation to us this morning. At this time, I would ask for a mover and a seconder to close this public meeting. Moved by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council close the public meeting. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you. And I would now entertain a mover and a seconder to reconvene a regular council meeting. Councillor Hickey moves, Councillor Miltenberg seconds, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh reconvene a regular council meeting. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you. And thanks again, Megan. In the Treasury Department, under 6.1, we have the budget and tax rate bylaw, and we have a motion on this, and that we have all received the revised 2026 budget with the highlights, and it has been indicated that it would be appropriate for council to approve this as presented, and further that the council approve the bylaw 24-2026 to establish a levy for the year 2026 to adopt tax rates for 2026 and to provide for penalty and interest in default of payments and the collection thereof. I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this budget, please. Councillor Forrester moves, Councillor Miltenberg seconds, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby approves the 2026 Township budget as presented. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. The fee bylaw is a matter of updating this. We have all noted the changes that are highlighted in section O, which is the sewer service rates. Is there any questions on this? And if not, I will ask for a show of hands of councils in support of this for consideration in section 18 as a bylaw. And that is supported by council. Thank you. Under the planning department in 7.1, we have delegated consents that have been circulated with the report by our planner, Megan Tidhernick. That is for information purposes. Are there any questions on these? Seeing none, we have the notice of decision regarding consent to sever C64, C65, C66, C67-2025 Smith. Council have been provided with the notice of decision of the County of Huron of these consents, and it is with the appeal period having lapsed, council can now pass the associated zoning bylaw amendment by giving note third reading and final reading to this bylaw, and that would be for consideration in section 18. Is there any questions on this? And if not, I'll ask again for a show of hands if we're in support of considering this in section 18 as a bylaw. Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Under the building department, we have the chief building official's report. It is for information purposes. Is there any questions for our CBO on this? If not, thank you very much, Joy, for this. Under administration, we have the Integrity Commissioner contract renewal, and it would this will be a discussion in our closed session, and we will consider that in section 20 as a bylaw after our closed session. 9.2 is the Lucknow Recreation appointment of summer students. We're very fortunate to have summer students that have applied for these positions, and I will ask for a show of hands if we are in support of consideration of this bylaw in section 18. And that is supported by council. Thank you very much. Nine 3 is a bylaw enforcement report for March of 2026. Again, it is for information purposes. Do we have any questions or comments on this report? Seeing none, we have nothing under water or drainage this morning. Under public works, thank you very much, Tom, for your report. It is again for information purposes. Do we have any questions or comments of Tom on his report? And I will go first to Councillor Hickey, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A question through you to Tom. Your comment about the path, the rec path in Ben Miller. We had an email, I think everybody at council at the start of March had an email from a homeowner in that hamlet asking questions about that path. Can you just explain what's going on with that rec trail or where that idea came from? Thank you.
Clerk, do you have a comment or Tom?
I was just gonna, sorry to interject. My suggestion, I know that there was an email that was distributed, you just mentioned. I would suggest that this be brought up at new business, if that's all right. Unless, Mark, what are your thoughts here? Just,
It is on Tom's staff report, so
which,
I'm
just considering what.
yeah, I maybe Mr. Hickey could elaborate a little bit more what he's getting with respect to the report, or with an email this morning, or an email a long time ago.
Okay, please continue, Councillor Hickey.
I'll clarify my question then. Ignore the email question. Can you just explain this rec trail to me then? Because I don't think it was talked about prior to this, was it? Or maybe I missed something, but if I could just hear about this, ignore the email question and explain that line in the report. Thank you.
CAO, please.
I'm gonna let Tom think about this for a minute. I'm gonna do a few minutes. So it was included in the budget last year, and it's a whole proposal, part of our Ben Miller Park revitalization, which included the playground equipment that's situated there now. The mulch just pulled in. There is going to be a fence. It's going to be continuation. They're going to build that this year still. And the path, it was included, and I'm just saying this, it'll remind council, there was a path included, but the path was a lot of money, so we removed that from the contract, and we agreed that Tom would work with a local contractor who's putting in-kind donation towards it to continue the path at the back, and that's part of the whole proposal. It was in last year's budget, it wasn't completed, and it's going to be completed this year. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay, Deputy Mayor Vanstone, please.
Yeah, I'd like to know, the committee wasn't involved in putting where the path is going to go, and whose decision was that? Because I know there was a path put in, and I thought it was the path that was already down by the bleachers and down that way. I didn't realize it was going to come in through the back by the trees and whatnot. So was this always the plan for that, where that went? Or was I just not reading it right? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. CAO, please.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the weeds too far, but if I can address that right now, I might as well, rather than bring back a staff report at the future. But if council still wants to have a staff report for the next meeting, we can bring that in new business. But that was part of the parkland, the recreation parkland plan that we adopted some time ago, and this went to council, and that was the whole, just council agreed to proceed with that path as proposed I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's just the existing path. I understood it was years ago, so it,
Okay. Tom, do you have any comments you'd care to make at this time?
I'd love to, sir.
Please, we'd welcome them.
I've met with all of the residents that back onto the path. I've met with the resident that submitted the email twice. So the path is planned out, goes back past the new playground. It's supposed to go around the ball diamonds back behind the trees and over to Gristmill. And if someone wants to walk around there, they would be free to. There's a bit of cleaning up to be done with old debris that's been put back there, and some of the trees would have to be removed. I've met a couple times with this resident, and we're supposed to discuss again planting some new trees because he's concerned about view on sight line to his house. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's been in the plan for like the pathway is on the sign that was put up a year ago over on the park. So we've been doing our best to meet with the people, and I think it's going to look great.
Okay, thanks. Clerk, do you have a comment to make?
Yeah, so
Councillor?
council adopted the Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan, a 10-year plan, and they adopted it in November of 2024. The plan had concept plans for Ashfield Park, Dungannon Park, St. Helens, Petrie, and there were concept plans developed, and this was advertised. There were open houses had to that effect. Each area had an opportunity to look at it, and if I'm not mistaken, the Ben Miller Hall community has had an opportunity to look at the plan as well. So that was part of the plan for the last couple of years anyhow. It's just taken to this point to get it to there. So that has kind of for the last couple of years, that's always been in the plan.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
I appreciate staff's answers, but I would like to say, if we're actually going to talk about this, and we talked about it 2 years ago, then I would like to see something. You're saying this, and I'm trying to envision it, and I don't know Ben Miller, and I don't even know if we need to have this conversation. And then I get an email this morning from Curtis saying, I think this, and I didn't even know what he was talking about because there are no words, and I do better with words. So I would really request, if we're going to talk about this, or if we need to, that it's on the agenda as a reminder or for information or something, because I do appreciate this, but I don't think I'm a whole lot smarter. Thank you.
Okay, so after that, Councillor Miltenberg, what is your request?
I request we stop talking about it now, and if we need to talk about it, then it's on the agenda proper. And I'm not clear that we need to by the sounds of it. So I have no requests except that if we're going to continue the conversation, it comes up under new business and it's an agenda item. Because I'm just going by hearsay here, and I'm confident with staffs, but if we want more information, I need to see it. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. We're good with that. Any other questions of Tom and his report of anything? Councillor Snowden, please.
Would it be acceptable to ask for just a briefing, maybe not a staff report, but a briefing on what we're talking about? I agree with Councillor Miltenberg. I see, hands sort of drawing a path in the air. I do better with a visual, like a photo or a drawing of some sort. So, but if this is a done deal, do we even need to talk about it? I guess I'll direct that to the clerk as to whether or not this is something that needs to come back for any discussion, or is this a done deal?
Okay, thanks for the comment. Clerk, please.
My suggestion would be that staff prepare a very brief report with the map of the plan as adopted by council, an explanation of where we're at and how it's going forward. That's my suggestion for the next meeting.
Would that be suitable, Councillor Snowden?
Yes, but I want to know, are we approving anything then today? No, we're not. Okay.
CAO, please.
It was included in last year's budget, and as I said earlier, it was included in this year's budget. So it's all passed and done. We're just gonna complete it.
Okay. So, Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, I'm going to bring this back under council inquiries later down here that we bring back a report to, so at that point in time, I will bring that forward, Mr. Mayor.
Under new business. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to 12.2, and that's the weekly curbside pickup of the household waste. This was a request to come back. We have been provided the numbers. Do we have any questions or comments on this? Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has come up different times that our garbage pickup has been every 2 weeks for everything west or east of the 21 highway, and west it's weekly during the summer. And I've had a lot of complaints, I don't know if the rest of the council has or not, about the fact that if we're going to do it for one, we should do it for all. And looking at the numbers, I don't think that's feasible. I think that's too much money. So my thought on this whole thing is that if we're going to treat everybody the same, we should go to like a 2-week pickup for everybody, all the way across ACW. They've done it in London just lately. They've changed from weekly to bi-weekly so that they can save money, and I don't see any problem with us doing the same. And then that way, we've treated everybody the same in the township. And so my thought on this, and I'd like to hear what the rest of the council thinks, is that we change that anything west of 21 is now back to 2 weeks, the same as everybody else in the township. Thank you.
I'm going to ask our staff, either the CAO or Tom, to just remind us all of the number of months west of 21 that there is weekly pickups. And I think the original intent, by my memory, was about 4 months that it's regular every weekly pickup west of 21. And that was made to compensate for rather than the year-round pickup to everyone else on a 2-week basis. Would staff like to comment on that, please, either CAO or Tom? CAO, please.
Well, I think, and I don't have the top of my head, I think it's June, July, August, and September. Is that correct, Tom? Okay, everyone's nodding their heads. Good, thank you. That's a good answer. So yeah, so June, July, August, and September, everyone west of 21 gets weekly pickup. Just because I've been here forever, I'll tell you the history of this. This is not a staff decision. This is a request from previous council members, previous councils from days gone by when we implemented this many, many, many years ago. If I recall, I think it started out with only July and August weekly pickup and then expanded where we are today. And my interpretation of the reasoning for that was because it's the lakeshore area, and the lakeshore area are not here during the winter months. So basically, they're getting the exact same garbage pickup as those folks that are here full time. Everyone here full time is getting 26 times a year, and when you give them 4 months of the for the lakeshore, that was the purpose of that. The administrative nightmare just to have the trucks go to the cottages would be a horrible thing, and that's why everything was decided upon west of 21. So that's just a little history how we got here. That was council's decision back at the time, and that's why we're at where we are today.
Okay, thank you for that. Does that make sense? Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Well, I noticed in this report that it says staff will bring back a report to the next council meeting. So rather than arguing bills without numbers or whatever, in that staff report, could we also get the cost of Bill's proposal and then we look at everything? Not that I'm agreeing with you, Bill, but rather than argue with it now, like it doesn't mean anything without numbers to me.
Okay, thank you for that. Tom, please.
So we have an existing contract with Waste Management to provide the service. It's difficult to cut a contract without just basically starting a new one. That being said, we can always do whatever you like. I'd keep in mind that I'm meeting with Waste Management this week to go over pickup along the lake shore. Because as it turns out, we are going to get the wheelie bins at some point this year. So the lake shore is going to transition to possibly bins, like a depot style, and they'll get picked up on different days anyway. So it may be prudent to just, examine what we're going to transition into before making a big decision on this.
Okay, thanks for that, Tom. What is the term of this contract? When, the current contract, when does it expire, please?
Sorry, I don't have that information ahead of me, but if I had to guess, it's either 4 or 5 years. And it was just signed in April, so.
Right, that was my memory. Councillor Snowbloom, please.
Tom, when you come back with that information, I assume he's coming back with that information. I know that there's west of 21 that are year-round homes. Can you, in that report or that document, sort of distinguish what happens in the months besides June, July, August, and September with the year-round homes west of 21, if they are bi-weekly or if they're picked up at all? Because I think that there are, no?
Yeah, everyone's treated, like, it's just those 4 months, like, full-time people still get the same service everyone else does.
Every other week.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're good. Deputy Mayor, please.
Yeah, and I'd like to also know, like on the west side of 21, there's an awful pile of people who live there full-time, and they're getting the pickup once a week because they're west of 21. So, as I said, I don't think it's fair for 4 months, yes. So I don't think it's fair to the rest of the township to pay for them to get weekly pickup when everybody, especially our subdivisions would really like to see weekly pickup. And then, as they said, if they don't, then they just want to be treated the same as everybody else. So that's something you can put in there too, as how many, and I don't know if you could come up with that, is how many full-time residents are on the west of 21, because, you know, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. So that's what I'm looking at. And we should save money. And as far as a contractor, hell, there's lots of contracts that are broke every day. So, and we should save money by going to every 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, my mom always told me that fair doesn't mean equal. And so it could be fair and not equal, is what I'm saying. And that would be interesting information to have. And I know, Bill, that you're living close to an area who is more residential. Well, I hear from the people who go to the dump and say, why are we paying for this stupid pickup? I never use it. I personally haven't put my garbage out in at least 3 years. We just don't use the service and we pay for it. So there's all sorts of residents with all sorts of needs, and I think we'll try to be fair to them all, but it doesn't necessarily mean equal, because I would say I know a lot of people who would opt out of the pickup if they could, and they can't. So I'm looking forward to your report.
Okay, thanks. And I think we've had a lot of comments from our seasonal residents west of 21 indicating that they're only here, basically for those 4 months, and appreciate the weekly pickup as far as a variety of things, be it rodents or garbage being displaced if it was every 2 weeks. So I think we need a balanced approach on this. So Councillor Forster, please.
Thanks, Glenn. Personally, this isn't the time with fuel prices that we should be talking to anybody about contracts. As far as I'm concerned, I have no problem with them getting weekly pickup, because that's a tourist area, right? And we don't want people probably used to that weekly service, and you'll have garbage getting strewn all over the place by rodents and stuff. So I think we should leave it alone. Thanks, but.
Okay, thanks for that. So we'll have a further discussion on this when Tom's report comes back in the future. 12.3 is a pickup truck tender results. We've all read the results of this, And I will entertain a mover and a seconder for this, and then we can have any discussion that anyone would like. Moved by Councillor Miltenberg. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Forrester, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council accept the tender received from Finch Chevrolet in the amount of $61,447.38, including HST, for a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 pickup truck. It is the lowest tender that was presented. Do we have any questions or comments on this? If not, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. 12-4 is an Amberley Road speed limit request. And the comment, thanks Tom for this in your report. And we would ask from council to staff bring back a traffic bylaw amendment that the speed limit on Amberley Road be lowered from 80 to 60 from the south baseline, which is the Huron-Kinloss, to 1 kilometer east towards 21. And we'll have that for a future meeting. Is that suitable with all of council? And I will ask for a show of hands if we are in support of this. And that is supported by council. Thank you. Do we have any committee reports that anyone would like to share with council at this time? Councillor Forster, please.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Last weekend, I guess it was a week ago, I attended the Good Roads Convention. On Sunday afternoon, I attended a seminar on climate-ready infrastructure, and they will give townships money for to help with roads that get, or roads or culverts or anything, bridges that get washed out because of excessive weather. And they also help make facilities energy efficient in townships. So that's your arenas and whatever. And then Ellen has all the information on that. Monday, there was an interesting speaker on construction projects. His advice to all municipalities is think fast, act slow, and don't be scared to use old technology because it works. I never buy a truck or tractor that's new out because it's nothing but problems. So I agree with them totally on that. Huh? Yeah. And Jason Kenney spoke. He was the former premier of Alberta. Kind of blew me away that because of aluminum tariffs in the States, that adds $7,000 to the price of he used the F-154, which is my favorite truck. Like, I thought, holy, that's a lot of money. And that afternoon, I attended the Metrolinx tour of Union Station. There's a lot of construction going on there, and they hope to, he never did give me an exact date, but they hope to go from 20 trains per hour to 80 trains per hour. And that just blew me away. Glenn and I, we and all the municipalities in Huron County got invited to Queen's Park for breakfast with Lisa Thompson. Got to tour Queen's Park and sat in one of their sessions, and that blew me away. It's totally different than what we do here. Like, everybody was on their phones and weren't paying attention. And I also sat in on a Phragmites seminar, and it's going to be easier to control with drone spraying, which I think that's going to be legal by summer to use those things to control the Phragmites. So that's all I have to report on. Thank you.
Thank you for that comprehensive report. Any questions or comments? Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I didn't know whether to bring this up under Tom's report or here, but it came from the Balls Bridge. There's some, I don't know who, but anyway, somebody's been back there tearing up the stuff, and you probably already know about it, do you, Tom? Because I've had a call. So hopefully, I don't know if there's anything we can do back there to help alleviate this. I don't know. I'll leave it in your capable hands, but I just wanted to bring it up that we are having problems again with the boys back tearing things up.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Miltenberg.
So I'm on the Balls Bridge Committee. Do we have a meeting scheduled for that, or?
Use the microphone, please, Deputy Mayor.
No, it was just one of the ratepayers back there that live right there, and they phoned and sent me a picture of it. And So I thought, well, I'll just bring it up here and,
Oh.
no, I didn't ask Jim or any of them at our council meeting. I just thought, because it's on our side, and I just wanted Tom to know about it.
No, I just wondered if it was a Balls Bridge Committee. I didn't know if I missed something there. No, okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other committee reports? I had a couple reports. One is from the MPP and MP meeting that we had at Clinton on the 27th of March. It was extremely well attended by many of the 7 of the 9 municipalities in Huron County, and I would have to say the overall atmosphere of the meeting was very, very positive because we're in a time of very positive commodity prices and also livestock prices, whether it be for beef, dairy, cull cows, sheep. It is very positive, and there were concerns expressed to their MP and MPP, and they were duly noted. And it was a very, very worthwhile meeting. And as Councillor Forrester indicated, we both attended the OGRA conference. I attended a session on emerging municipal leaders. There was a very large trade show that was quite extensive and very well represented. There was a good concurrent session on getting the message across to government, and it would be to be concise and clear and not scattered, be very, very focused in our approach. And that's what we have used in the past. And that's what our government wants, is direct either requests or suggestions as to how to address a specific situation. I also attended the AOR's general annual meeting as part of OGRA, and one of our staff were recognized there, Joe Ryan, for his commitment to public works. And as Councillor Forrester indicated, it was really good of Minister Thompson to invite so many people. There must have been probably 30 people there from other areas outside of Huron County, and it was hosted jointly by her colleagues Bob Bailey and Steve Piesno. And going to the legislature was indeed very, very interesting. Lots of discussion. So that would encompass that. Any questions or comments? And seeing none, I will move on to new business. Is there anything that anyone would like to bring up under new business? And I'll go to Deputy Mayor Vanstone, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask that it be brought back, the trail at the Ben Miller Hall or Golf Diamonds, however you want to call it, and for discussion at our next meeting with some information on it and some input from the committee. Thank you.
Okay, duly noted. We're good with that. Perfect. Anything else? Tom, you're okay with that?
You wanted input from the committee? The Ben Miller committee or the?
Yes, please. I'd like the Ben Miller committee to have input into that. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Clear with that, staff? We have nothing under correspondence for direction. We do have a number of items for information that has been listed here. Is there anything that anyone would like to comment about regarding these items? And if not, under unfinished business, the AMO conference is happening in August with Councillor Miltenberg and myself registered for that. We have a number of bylaws today, and the first one would be a bylaw 18.1 regarding Smith, ZBEA, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor Hickey moves, Councillor Snoblin seconds, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 40-2025, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 32-2008 for the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and that it now be read a third time and finally passed the 7th day of April 2026. Any questions, comments? All in favor of this motion? Opposed? Duly noted. Thank you, and this is passed. 18.2 is a bylaw number 21-2026, Auten. And I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, and that would be Deputy Mayor Van Stone moves, Councillor Forrester seconds, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 21-2026, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 32, 2008, as amended for the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and that it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 7th day of April 2026. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. 18.3 is the appointment of the summer students for the Lucknow Recreation, and I will entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor Forrester moves, Deputy Mayor Van Stone seconds, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 23-2026, being a bylaw to appoint summer student positions for the Lucknow and District Joint Recreation Department, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 7th day of April 2026. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you. 18.4 is the tax rate, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. And that is Deputy Mayor Van Stone and Councillor Forrester. The leave be given to introduce bylaw number 24-2026, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption of the 2026 tax rates for the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 7th day of April 2026. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. 18.5 is the consolidated fee bylaw, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor Miltenberg moves, Councillor Snoblin seconds. The leave be given to introduce bylaw number 25-2026, being a bylaw to set various fees for the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally passed the 7th day of April 2026. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. We do have a closed session today, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder to move into our closed session. Councillor Miltenberg moves, Councillor Hickey seconds, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council move into a closed session in accordance with Section 239 in brackets 2, in brackets B, in brackets C, in brackets E, and in brackets I of the Municipal Act, with the CAO, clerk, and public works remaining in attendance for the duration, and the deputy clerk for items 19.1 at 9:47 a.m. for the purpose of discussing a personal matters with identifiable individuals, a proposed or pending acquisition of land by the municipality, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality, which if disclosed could reasonably be expected to jeopardize significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organizations, as well as litigation affecting the municipality. And that would include the Volunteer Recognition Awards, the Integrity Commissioner Closed Meeting Investigator Services, public ownership of a private road, and litigation. All in favor of this motion is read. And that is carried. So let's adjourn, and we will resume our meeting at 10 a.m. And so we are now in recess for a closed session. Thanks to all members of the Thank you very much. We're back in our open session, and I will call on the clerk for reporting out of her closed session, please.
Glenn, I'll let you do the Integrity Commissioner.
And we will move to item 20, which is 20.1, the appointment of the Integrity Commissioner. And I will entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Moved by Councillor Hickey, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 22, 2026, being a bylaw to appoint an Integrity Commissioner and closed meeting investigator for the Corporation of the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 7th day of April, 2026. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. I thank you, and I will entertain a mover and a seconder for the confirmatory bylaw, please. Deputy Mayor Vanstone moves, Councillor Forrester seconds, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 26-2026, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh meeting held on April 7th, 2026, and then now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass the 7th day of April, 2026. All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. And a motion to adjourn, if you would, please. Councillor Snoblin moves, Councillor Miltenberg seconds, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council does now adjourn to meet again on April 21st, 2026 at 9 a.m. or at the call of the mayor. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you very much to all for your attendance this morning, and we look forward to warmer weather. Thank you.